All right, first and foremost, I want to start off by saying, Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakal Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS who rule well and who taught me this truth. And shalom to you sincere Akim out there listening, learning, and pushing this truth. And I'm going to jump straight into this video. It's probably going to be a little long because I want to let this, I want to do this video justice, man. I want to let Danny Glover speak. He's going kind of off topic here and there, but he has a couple good points, man. And I'm gonna title this video, man. Esau, the jig is up, man. even Danny Glover's waking up out of sleep. All right, that's what I'll probably title this. All right, but with that being said, I'm gonna jump straight into this. Lord willing, is edifying. All right, so I'm gonna jump in here and there, but this was off of the Real News Network, right? It says Danny Glover on the conflict over Venezuela. All right, so I'll let pretty much a lot of this play. I might jump. I'll probably get to the scriptures. I don't know. I'll go in the spirit. Lord willing, like I said, it's edifying.
It's the Real News Network. I'm Sharmini Perez coming to you from Baltimore. In the State of the Union speech on Tuesday, President Trump reiterated his recognition of the opposition leader Juan Guaido in Venezuela.
2 weeks ago, the United States officially recognized the legitimate government of Venezuela and its new president, Juan Guaido. And we condemn the brutality of the Maduro regime, whose socialist policies have turned that nation from being the wealthiest in South America into a state of abject poverty and despair.
Hypocrisy, bullshit. Danny Glover even brought that out, but I'll let him get into. You'll hear it from his mouth. But that's bullshit. America is the one that is why Venezuela is in the conditions that it's in. Just like Mexico, you put all these tariffs on these countries, man, and then you threaten the countries around them. Any country that does business with them, you threaten them with tariffs also. So no one therefore wants to do business with them. You see, the only ones that are willing to do business with them are the ones that are willing to say, excuse my French, but fuck you, America, like Russia and China, Iran, countries like that. But basically, that's why the country is the way it is, because of the tariffs that America has put on it, and also Danny Glover brought out a good point. Even Maduro brought out a good point. How you gonna, like with the aid, for example, how they just sent aid and the media is spinning it like, oh, the man doesn't want to allow aid into the country. How dare you? How dare you? Release the man's fucking gold. Give him back his gold. Give him back his money. Then he wouldn't need your fucking aid. And then the aid that you're trying to give them is not even a drop in the bucket, man. And it's their fucking money. Release their money. This man is a devil, man. But anyway, I'll let you look at it. Salak, let me let the video play.
Meanwhile, more countries recognize self-proclaimed Juan Guaido.
This is why we call you the devil, too. Add that to it. This is why we call you the devil, man. You red Hebrew Edomites, man. This is why we call y'all the devil.
As the president of Venezuela and have pledged humanitarian aid to him for assisting Venezuelans. The U.S. has promised $20 million, Colombia $40 million, and Canada $53 million. Venezuela's President Maduro is rejecting the aid, saying
right.
We do not need charity. We want everyone to release Venezuelan government's billions of dollars that are held in assets all over the world.
See, facts. He's right. He's right. How dare you? That's like I have billions of dollars in Wells Fargo, which I don't or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, say I had a bunch of money in Wells Fargo, right? And something happened, and now all of a sudden, I want to get all my money out. I say, you know what? I'm done with you, Wells Fargo. I'm gonna close my account, and I go down there today and try to withdraw all my money. And Wells Fargo's like, hell no, we ain't giving you all your money. We'll give you $100. Like, how? What? give me my money. He's right. He's absolutely right.
These funds have been used as sanctions against Venezuela, so it cannot assist its own people. Now, joining me now here in the studio to discuss the latest developments, want everyone to release Venezuelan government's billions of dollars that are held in assets all over.
He said they owe this man billions, gold. France, and I believe France is holding their gold, which they probably don't even have it. The Rothschild, just like there's no gold in Fort Knox. The elites have all the gold, man. That's why there's nothing to give you back.
The world, these funds have been used as sanctions against Venezuela, so it cannot assist its own people. Now, joining me now here in the studio to discuss the latest developments is the renowned actor and activist Danny Glover.
Mr. Lethal Weapon himself.
Thank you.
Danny, you have a very special history with Venezuela and with the Chavez government previously. You were invited, you were a regular visitor with Chavez, you're a friend of Chavez. Since Chavez has died, you have also...
And Slocky, I'm going to say, Jake waking up to you, man, especially these celebrities, because, like, you see, if you never travel, you kind of sheltered. But once you leave out of America, you see how the world really is, man. You see how the other nations operate. And you see how they treat Jake, man. They love Jake, man. You know, you go to Ammon, you go over there to Japan, you go over there to China. They were damn near worshiping Jake, man. You know, because it's in their spirit, man. They don't have that perpetual hatred like how Esau has that perpetual hatred. Is what it boils down to. The other nations, they don't get it twisted. You know, they're still our enemy also, but they don't have that perpetual hatred like Esau, man. You know. Even when you read the scriptures with King David, you know, the big thing with the shaving, speaking about shaving, I ain't even going to comment on that. But when you go into 2 Samuel, you know, they was talking about King Hanan, I believe it was, that died, you know, the king of Ammon. You know, King David was going to come with that's why he sent the men out there. His servants I'm sorry, I'm going off track, but that's why King David sent the men out there, his servants. He was going to comfort, when you read that scripture in 2 Samuel, he said he was going to comfort the king of Ammon. And what happened was his brother, his son, and the other princes, you know, they didn't trust King David because they knew King David was a man of war. So, you know, that's why they did what they did to the servants. You know, they shaved half their face and rented their garment, you know, because they did, you know, they thought they didn't realize, they didn't know King David's spirit, you know. King David was a even though he had a lot of bodies on him, you know, he was a man, he was a righteous dude, man, a man after the Lord's heart, you know. Even Saul, he had mercy on Saul. That was just King David's spirit, you know. But I say all that to say I'm all over the place, but I say that to say, you know, obviously the other nations, we dealt with other nations, you know, even though the scriptures say not to make a covenant with them, you know, you don't gotta, you know. It's different, you know, if you can receive what I'm trying to say. But Esau just hate us, man. It's from the womb, there's a perpetual, there's something there. There's a gulf fix, you know. But anyway, Salaki, but Jake, like I said, they waking up, man. You see Dennis Rodman went over there to North Korea, over there with Kim Jong-un, fell in love, you know. Jake traveling, man. Jake waking up, man. Jake waking up out of the sunken place.
On the invitation of the Venezuelan government, has visited Venezuela many times. Mm-hmm. And I say all of this, A, for transparency, and B, for over a decade and a half, you have built up your expertise, your knowledge, your
That's
insight.
Wisdom. See, he's not going by the propaganda and the bullshit that the wine that Esau's pushing. He's actually been to Venezuela, been with Chavez, been amongst his people. See that there's Jake down there, you know. He probably don't really understand that, you know, them his brothers, but you know, it's something in our spirit bear witness that we are the children of the Most High, man. You know.
Understanding of the
Been to
crises
Brazil.
that Venezuela has
Them
been
Israelites, man.
experiencing during this
The
long
Northern
period
Kingdom.
of Chavismo. And I think it's important for us and for people on the left for us to have an honest conversation about the way in which we defend Venezuela. And I say we because I myself, in the interest of transparency, worked with President Chavez for 4.5 years at Miraflores, and someone who very much believed in the revolution and what was possible in terms of another world that Venezuela was trying to forge at the time. With that in mind, and this history and the knowledge and the advice you yourself has given to the Venezuelan government, I want to ask you, how do you feel and how do you actually respond to your government and many European countries and now many Latin American countries recognizing self-proclaimed Juan Guaido as the president of Venezuela?
Well, with all due respect, to any analysis of Venezuela, we have to go back a little ways. The planning.
And see, the Most High requires the things of the past. You have to know where you came from to know where you're going. That's wisdom, you know. That's what Esau wants to do. Forget the past. Forget the past. No, the Most High requires the things of the past.
The conference on racism and xenophobia, which took place in Durban, South Africa in 2001. And there have been years of planning, there have been movements relative to African descendants, changes that have occurred. To go back a little ways, the planning for the conference on racism and xenophobia, which took place in Durban, South Africa in 2001. And there have been years of planning, there have been movements relative to Afro-descendants, changes that have occurred.
Afro-descendants, a.k.a. Israelites, man. We're not African, we're not black. We're Israelites, Hebrew Israelites, the northern and the southern kingdom, okay? And we're scattered everywhere in Africa, the west coast of Africa, South Africa. We're all over, man. We're in the sands of the sea, okay? We're in North America, South America. We're everywhere, man. Europe, Russia. We're in Russia. We're everywhere, man. At the sands of the sea, man.
After the end of military dictatorships in the respective countries in Latin America. So we go back there. There's a news.
He's going into, if you can follow along, he's going into how Esau Edom, a.k.a. the beast, a.k.a. America and NATO and the EU, right? How they go around, and topple countries, a.k.a. Cuba, for example, with Castro. They sanctioned the hell out of Cuba. Just so-called lifted the sanction off of them. I don't even know if the sanctions is back on Cuba. Who else? Just how they topple places, especially in Latin America. He's going into that, okay?
Renewed of this explosion of energy.
And like, for example, with Castro, Salakia, if you're familiar with Cuba and the stuff, what Castro was trying to do, they deem it as socialism and communism, but what he was doing was actually better for the people. He was, providing free, like, for example, free education. Everybody could go to college. It was free. Free healthcare. The life was better, man. He locked the damn internet down. He's trying to make it so-called morally right.
And it is democracy, democratic principles, and all those things, adjusting to the past wrongs that have been done through the military dictatorship and historically throughout Latin America. I mean, dictatorships in the respective countries in Latin America, in Durban, South Africa in 2001. And there have been years of planning, there have been movements relative.
Remember what he just said. It's been years of planning. I got the script of Crafty Counsel. Remember everything that's being said, And I got a bunch of scriptures. I just want to let him speak, and then I let him speak a little bit. Then I get into the scriptures. But he's dropping some heavy knowledge, man. If you can receive what he's saying, man, pay attention.
recognizing self-proclaimed
He's
one
not coming out straightforward and saying things. He's speaking in code, But we have the ISO of and we know who the major players are. We know who he's talking about. We know who's running things, who really control. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. We know. Okay, you oligarchs, you Rothschilds, you Vanderbilts, you Gettys, DuPonts. He goes into your corporations. We always say, well, I always say, the beast is NATO and the EU, yes, but democracy, that's how it really spreads its virus, its cancer. That's how it spreads through its democracy and through its corporations. It leaves its corporations all throughout these countries that it topples. And he's going to go into that.
Guaido
So, I'm not going to interrupt him no more, Lord's willing.
as the president of Venezuela.
Well, with all due respect to any analysis of Venezuela, we have to go back a little ways. The planning for the conference on racism and xenophobia, which took place in Durban, South Africa in 2001. And there have been years of planning, there have been movements relative to Afro-descendants, changes that have occurred after the end of military dictatorships in the respective countries in Latin America. So we go back there. There's renewed of this explosion of energy and democracy, democratic principles, and all those things, adjusting to the past wrongs that have been done through the military dictatorship and historically throughout Latin America. I mean, when we look at that, then on top of that, we have the World Social Forum. The World Social Forum in Porto Alegre, when I first in Brazil in 2003, my first time to go to Brazil, and one of the first times at the beginning of a long-term relationship with Latin America, where we saw so many things happening. We saw things were happening in Bolivia. Evo Morales came out of the struggle against privatizing the water in Bolivia. You go on and on and on.
Salakia. You see, he's going into privatizing the water in Bolivia. You see, he wanted to get rid of that. That's how Esau operates, man. Look at Puerto Rico. A lot of their fucking corporations are in Puerto Rico. That's just what he does. He goes everywhere and leaves his corporations.
You had Lula da Silva, who had run many times for president and won, and all these new changes that were happening. There seems to be a new nexus around real transformative changes, relationships, nation-to-nation relationships, CARICOM, Petro-Carib, all these different news, the idea of the Bank of the South, all these ideas were said.
Because they want one central banking system. They want that new world order. Going back, that's why everybody's going to be chipped. There's a plan, man. There's an agenda. They don't want any rivals. That's why everybody's got to be on the Internet of Things. Everybody got to get chipped, man. Okay, they don't want any other banking, none of that. They want everybody on their system. Okay.
Emotion at this particular time. It's an explosion of people's energy, a repudiation of the neoliberal paradigm that they had suffered through, and the exploitation of the natural resources, the exploitation
of raping the countries of their goods. That's why they want to go in Venezuela, to rape, to exploit the countries. That's what they do. Like I said, the jig is up, man. He's saying it in so many words. You see, we know what you're about, man. Put it in your corporations. Put it in your bullshit democracy. He's on you. The jig is up, man. Mr. Lethal Weapon himself is on you.
energy, a repudiation of the neoliberal paradigm that they had suffered through, and the exploitation of the natural resources, the exploitation of indigenous people, etc., etc.
Indigenous people. Who are the indigenous people? The Israelites, man. The Europeans aren't indigenous, man. Okay? And then you brought us over here. You know? You first the Northern Kingdom was in the Americas. You know, the Northern Kingdom, the so-called Native Americans, Gad, the so-called Mexican Issachar, all the Latin tribes. They are the natives, okay? And then you brought us over here. He's talking about you so-called devils, man. The jig is up, man.
These ideas were set in motion at this particular time. It's an explosion of people's energy, a repudiation of the neoliberal paradigm that they had suffered through, and the exploitation of the natural resources, the exploitation of indigenous people, etc., etc. All of this was laid on here. And at that particular point in time,
this is why we call you the devil, man. Etc., etc. You can go on and on and on. This is why we call you the devil.
I'm trying to assess all of this, because we talk about Venezuela, but we see what is happening in Argentina, Ecuador, Chile, which had one coup in 1973. Now it's moved further to the right.
We see your track record, Esau. I'm done with this. I'm gonna leave this alone. This is a good interview. He was going in, man. But I don't want to make it too long, right? So let me bang the scriptures out. We already know them, but hey, hey, you got to bring them out. Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. This is the main point. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. And like I said, that's NATO and the EU. That's his democracy. That's his philosophies, his way of life, and his corporations. All of that. That's his wine. Okay? His way of life, man. He is a proud man. He tries to push that agenda everywhere. Okay? Yea, also because he is transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell. That's why he goes everywhere. Argentina, Bolivia, Venezuela, Iran, Afghanistan, North Korea, wherever. This man goes everywhere, man. Who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. He can't. But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Okay? Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? And what did he say? It's what he said the word was? Repudiation, I think he said the word was, of all the natural resources, aka reaping all the natural resources. They're not his. They don't belong to him. They belong to the natives, the indigenous people, man. Okay? Let me read that all over without interrupting. Habakkuk 2 and 4. It's all talking about the same person, Esau, Edom, the red Hebrew Edomite. Okay? It says, Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up in Salakia. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Okay? Let me shut that down. Let's get let me see, go to Jeremiah. This is Jeremiah 49 and 10. Concerning Edom, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan. For I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. And this is the time. The Lord is visiting him. Okay? If grape gatherers come to thee, will they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough. But I have made Esau bare. Okay? I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Okay? So I wanted to go into this right here. But I have made Esau bare. Okay? So I got some of the words here. This is H2 834. Kasaf, I think it is.
Strong's H 2834. Chasaf.
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 Chasaf. It says Chasaf. Make bare, discover, uncover, take clean, draw out. To strip off, lay bare, make bare, draw out. To strip off, to strip, lay bare. I had not that one. That wasn't it. Hold on. This was it here. It was H Galah.
Strong's H 1540. Galah.
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 H 150. H 1540. All right. It says uncover, discover, captive, carry away, reveal, open, captivity, show, remove, appear. To uncover, remove. To uncover, to remove, depart. To go into exile. To uncover oneself. To discover or show oneself. To receive, to reveal himself of Yahweh. Okay? And that's the definition that we really need. The Lord is revealing himself. He's showing, not him, but Esau. He's showing his real self, okay? His truth to us, But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places. We're seeing the truth, We're seeing him for what he really is, the devil that he is. This is why we call you the devil, okay? We're hip to you. Your track record, your history, okay? The Lord is making you bare, man, your M.O., your means of operation or operandum or whatever that word means. I got secret places, okay? He said he was going to uncover his secret places.
Strong's H 4565. Mistar.
Secret places. It says secret place, hiding place, secret place, hiding place, for protection, for perpetration of crime. Okay, and that made me think of his secret places, right? He said he was going to uncover his secret places, right? So some of his secret places, like I was saying, is, NATO and the EU, these organizations is what the beast used to operate under, to spread his philosophies along with his corporations, all right? And some of his corporations is the United Nations General Assembly, okay? See? The United Nations General Assembly is one of 6 principal organs of the United Nations. This is just one of 6, okay? He has secret councils, man, okay? The only one in which all members nations have equal representation and main deliberative policy making. Okay, it says the first session was convened on January 10th, 1946, okay? And included 51 nations. Okay, you got also the Bilderberg. The Bilderberg is an annual conference established in 1954 by Prince Bernard of the Netherlands. Okay, to foster dialogue between Europe and North America. Participants are European and North American. See, This is their crafty counsel. Okay? Go back to this, Jeremiah. Hold on. I had another one. See, that's their secret places. That's where they meet, convene to do their wickedness, man. What else did I have? I had I wanted to show you something real quick. Hold on, Salakia. You know, because we got Psalms. Salakia. This is Psalms 83 and 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel. You see? That crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Yasharallah, Israel, may no more be in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. See, they're meetings. Okay? You see? They have said, Salakia, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. And then it goes into all the nations, man. Edom, Ishmaelites, Moab, okay? You see? It's all connected. What did Jeremiah say? I have made Esau bare, though that he uncovered this shit. His secret places. His crafty counsel. Okay? He made him bare. Okay? We hip to you. The jig is up, man. The jig is up. And I had, what did I want to pull out of this? Oh, yeah. Hold on. This is H6191. Aram.
Strong's H6191. Aram.
It says subtlety, crafty, prudent, beware, very. To be subtle, be shrewd, be crafty, beware, take crafty counsel, be prudent. To be crafty, be subtle. To be crafty, be or become shrewd. And Esau is the most cunning hunter of the field. He's very crafty. And he's the ambassador of the heathen. So he's the ringleader. Okay? But the Lord said he has made him bare. He has uncovered this. Okay? This is H5475.
Strong's H5475. Sod.
Secret.
Sod.
Council. Assembly. Inward. Council. Assembly. You see? Assembly. Council. A familiar conversation. Divine circle of familiar friends. Assembly. Company. Council. Council itself. Secret council. Familiar converse. Okay? Intimacy. Well, we know they're not intimate with God. The Lord rejected them. He's turned his head. He's turned his face to them, man. But this is secret counsel, okay? They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. You see? What was that? Salak 5475. 5475. So counsel, that's what counsel was. So they have taken crafty counsel. So put these together. They have been shrewd, crafty in their assembly to cut us off from being a nation. And then I had the other one too, against thy hidden ones. Against thy hidden ones, H6845. Wait, no, H. I need this one for. And consulted. I had that one. Let me see if that's consulted. Okay, consulted. To advise, to consult, give counsel, propose, devise, plan. That's what they do. They lay out a plan. They lay out a plan in these places, man. The Bilderberg meeting is an annual conference established in and all these things are pretty much around the same time, man. 1954. You see, the Balfour Declaration was what, 1916, I think. You know, that's in 1946. You see, NATO was established when 1949. See, all around the same time, man. 54, 46. So that NATO came in 3 years after this, if I'm not mistaken. 49. You see? This came in, this is the most recent one. I believe this was what, 2009 or something like that. This is the most recent one. I forget when this was started, you know. But hey, the scriptures don't lie, man. But the main point, like I said, man, the jig is up, okay? The jig is up, Esau. We're hip to you. We're hip, you know. The scriptures don't lie. But I had Jeremiah 49:10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Okay? So I think that's pretty much it on that. Go back to this. Let you hear some more Danny Glover, man.
etc. Brazil, which has moved further to the right, you know, and the most elements who are most endangered are the most progressive, most enlightened parts of the Brazilian transformation, the landless movement, MST.
The ones who's really in danger is the hopeful elect. The ones that's pushing the truth, the 144,000% truth. Okay, that's who's really in danger. All right. But that being said, like I said, this video was good. Lord willing, it was edifying. And like I always said, we almost out of here. Keep pushing. Shalom.